at the end, if you saw his, he's like, this is your system, this is your install cost, warranties, permits, and he goes through and crosses them out. Look how awesome this is. I'll do that sometimes, help them understand the value that we're giving them, but typically I just go through this. So we have 3 big issues when we're selling solar. To understand, the number 1 killer of solar, like getting a deal, is urgency. This is something where people are just way too happy at being like, oh yeah, no, that's no problem. I don't have to, like, yeah, call me back. Like, I'll come back tomorrow or next week or whatever. Like, this isn't something that I'd make a decision on same day. Like, people get this stuck in their head that this isn't something they can make a decision on today. Brandon Thornton, awesome. He does great at follow-up. My percentages, I'd close out of my deals, I'd probably say 80 to 85% of them were same day. And honestly, I'd write them off if it wasn't. And if they called me back up and they wanted a deal or something like that, then great. I just count as a cherry on top. But I would not plan on getting a deal if I didn't go back to it. Just because it's not worth my time. I can go out there and create new leads and talk to more people that are ready to buy right then, instead of dealing with those people that are so tentative and they'll waste more of your time, honestly.
So when you say same day, you mean same day on the actual appointment, though?
Yeah, on the appointment, yeah. So, and we try to do same days as far as sets too. We find that our statistics on setting up the same day, showing up to the appointment and closing them down, our closing ratio, showing ratio, everything's higher. So we try to do it as quickly as possible. So urgency is the number 1 killer. I'll show you how I do this. My whole setup is around urgency, hands down. Okay, money makes sense every time. I can logically talk to anybody through solar and they'll agree with me. But urgency is the number 1 like whole setup for my presentation. The second killer of it is like needing to like validate it with somebody else, be validated on the cost, or essentially validated on what it's going to do for them. So talking to their brother, family, friend, dog's neighbor, whatever, right? They got to talk to somebody. They need to be validated. And then the third one is, I think would probably just say like value. And it's kind of like that value, it's kind of like that residual value that you get from your system as well. Okay? What's up, Ryan?
I just want to take a quick second to let you know to talk to Zachary. He said he's running a little bit late from your seat.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they should be there at 4. It starts at 4, the coach boot camp does. Cool. So, Zachary Grant. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, so this value, rent versus own, it's just important that people understand the value in these panels and where they hold at here in Utah, so that it's not just like, cool, this just disappears after I get solar, okay? So first thing I do with the customer, I write this down. Okay, so gotta love it, right? We love alarms, right? That advertising program, yada, yada, yada. Same idea, we gotta build urgency somehow. And honestly, yes, I agree. There's a lot of people who are like, dude, the product, it sells itself, yada, yada. Yes, but people need to understand that they're getting something special by working with you today or they won't do it. They'll find whatever reason. You can give it to them for free. I guarantee I can go to someone's house, this is free, like nothing, like no science to it. I'll literally give it to you, there's all this stuff. They would not sign on it still, okay? Unless I gave them a reason to and said this was a special deal to get it for free. Does that make sense? Like, it's just ridiculous in sales how people will try to push it off to whatever, right? So how I have mine structured is I say, hey, it's our sponsor program, because honestly, we get most of my leads come through referrals. Because I'm busy and stuff like that, I typically only deal with like referrals and whatnot. So I let my customers know that our business happens through referrals and essentially through me being able to sit down with people that have already done solar or talk to somebody that's already done solar, and I get more business from. And honestly, with solar, it's so much easier than like alarms or something, like because realistically, when it comes down to solar, if they hear that their buddy's like, yes, like it saves me money and I love it, really the only thing you have to do is just show them that they're going to qualify and it works for them too. Okay, nobody's going to be like, oh man, I won't do solar. My buddy just said this is the best company. They said that this is, like, they're saving money with it. They love it. There's no reason why they wouldn't do solar. I've ran into a countless amount of homes. They're like, yeah, my buddy's done solar. He loves it. I want to do it. And they do it with me instead of the dude that should have been getting referrals from that guy, because they would have signed up hands down right off the bat. So it's so important to build your system around this and build around urgency. That's really what mine's for. So I let them know. Obviously, I'll go through some small talk, ask them what they've heard about it, what they know, what questions they have. I write them to the side to make sure I can go through them. But the first thing I do is I say, cool. So my sponsor program, how this works is we set up a group of houses here in your neighborhood, and essentially from this, from people seeing the panels, from people talking about it, and working with customers that are going to be able to refer us, I get more customers calling me and asking me for business, and that way our business just grows, like any business. Solcius, we don't have any flyers, we don't have any advertisements, we don't have any pamphlets, we don't have any, radio ads, whatever. It comes through our program through referrals, through better customer service, because you're getting a better service than other people are. Okay. So number one, I tell them they need to be vocal. And in doing this, I just say, hey, so you just got to be able to refer us to people. Like, if someone asks you about solar, you would tell them, yes, this works great for me, or doesn't, right? Whatever. The second part, you got to qualify. There's 3 parts about qualifying. Number one is the financing side. So I say most people aren't paying cash for these systems just because, I'm still looking under my couch cushions for the money to pay for these things cash. But what we'll do is we'll do the financing side. How's your credit doing? We're like, well, it's pretty good, like 700s or so. Okay, great. That's right around what we asked for. So I think you should be okay, but we'll double check it. Right? They say 800. Cool, awesome. That's right around what we asked for. But I got to double check it to make sure, right? Obviously. So the qualifying side. Because what I do is I let them know, hey, you got to get a loan for this, or you got to finance it. Unless you're paying cash, are you going to pay cash for it, or no? No? Okay, you got to finance it. Because then later, if I bring up, this is a loan, 20-year loan, they're like, oh, I don't want to do a loan. I thought this was just going to be like Rocky Mountain Power, right? So you just got to make sure you preface this kind of stuff so they're not freaked out later on. Other part of qualifying, I say tax incentives. I say this is a big reason why people are going solar, but honestly, if you guys can't get the tax incentives, it's not a big deal. A lot of people do it without them, right? What do I do there? If I go through their taxes, figure out they can't do it, they know it's not a big deal. People do it anyways, okay? I'll let them know the tax incentives, the federal is 30%, and the state is $2,000. And then right here is when I ask them, do you guys do your own taxes, or do you have an accountant, or how do you guys have that set up? We do it ourselves, TurboTax, whatever. Okay, great. Or, hey, we have an accountant. Okay, awesome. So do you guys have your tax packet from last year? Okay, great. I'm gonna, don't worry about it right now, but a little bit later, I'm gonna have you go grab that. Okay? Right then, it's prefacing me so that I can tell them to go grab it later. They already know about it, but I didn't tell them to do it now because I do want to look over their taxes to make sure this makes sense. Okay? Tax incentives. Now, a lot of companies won't do that. A lot of sales reps still won't do that. I train on it. I tell them to do it. They still won't do it just because they feel like it's their responsibility. Honestly, I'd rather take the responsibility. Okay? It's like excessive accountability is, it's like what one of our managers talks about. It's extreme accountability is like his thing, where he's accountable for whatever. Something's out of his hands. Most people are like, oh yeah, it's that person's fault. He takes accountability for it. That's how I feel like with solar people. I try to take extreme accountability because if something goes bad, even though I explained it properly, but they didn't understand, it's still my fault. Okay? So, last part about it, I say we're looking for homes that can be a little bit more influential. Because I want to set up the person that's going to be able to talk to their neighbors and refer me, rather than the dude that's going to be 90 years old, shut into his house and not talk to anybody about it, right? Because I don't want to have to come out here and set up 1 million people and knock doors all day to find these people. I would rather set up the 5 most influential and have the other people call me and ask me for appointments. Does that make sense? That's exactly how I break it down for them. So the last thing is our time frame. So you got to work into our time frame because essentially we're setting up this group so that way it's more cost effective for you because we send everything in as a group and get our site surveys and the permits done as a group, which then saves you time and money. Okay, that's why our installs can happen so quickly is because Solcius is good at what they do. They know how to batch stuff. They know the exact permits for certain areas. They know how to talk to, they can call up fire marshals. I had one in Riverton, they called up the fire marshal, had him push some stuff around so I could fit more panels on a certain roof plane. Like, they know what they're doing. So it's like, we want to set people up as a group so we can get them installed as a group. It happens quicker just because it's like, we're there in that same location. So I say, hey, we want to do this as a group, and that way it's time effective and cost effective, which goes hand in hand. You're paying a Rocky Mountain Power bill no matter what each month, so I'd want to switch that over to solar as soon as possible. So you don't want to go with a company like Vivint that's taking like 4 to 6 months for an install at least, when you can go with somebody that can have it done by next month. Okay, because that's $100 a month. If you're paying, that's $600. Like, would you rather have that in your solar system or rather have that in Rocky Mountain Power Plant?